Welcome back, Steeler Nation, man. Thanks for tuning in to the Steelers before play, the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Green Bay Packers. Week 10 action, as the Steelers will come into this contest currently sitting at 5-3, and we shall see what happens at the end of this game. Can they get to 6-3? They need to. They need to, because I still don't think that this team is the greatest. But hey, I'm not here to talk about that today. Today, I'm here to talk about some keys to victory, or things that I think the Steelers need to do to try to secure victory. And there you have it. So we're going to get into that, guys. I'm not going to keep you too long. We're going to get in and out. First thing, of course, we're going to take a look at the injury report, man, so we can see what's happening to the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as, hold on, guys. Let me make sure it's working. Hold on. Give me a moment. This is live and in real time, guys. There we go. There it is. All right, so let's take a look and see what's going on. Obviously, we know who are the game time decisions for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We can already see that Minkah Fitzpatrick is out. Montravius Adams is out, and that is huge. I think that is huge because Montravius Adams has been playing good football for the Steelers, against the run, as well as offering some pass rush ability. If you've been paying attention, Adams has really been playing well. And again, this is a guy that I talked about to begin the season. I didn't know if he was the best option to only have at the nose tackle position, and this guy has been playing well for the Steelers. So, this could be a factor. However, we do have guys like Keanu Benton, who is definitely showing up and perking at the right time, or peaking at the right time, if you will, if I use the right word there. He's showing himself to be somebody that could be, a really great pick for the Steelers if he continues down that path. So you can kind of compliment him there for Montravius Adams. And obviously with having Cam Hayward back, you don't lose but so much in sub-package football. But, definitely something to pay attention to. And then if we take a look at the Friday practices, obviously Minkah did not practice, as well as Adams. So, of course, they're out. But keep an eye on a guy like Elandon Roberts. Elandon Roberts, had a knee situation earlier this week in practice, but he was a full participant on yesterday's practice, so that is a good sign. As well as a guy like Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward was limited yesterday, and you would expect that Cam is probably more of a rest situation where, even Tomlin said he may have played a little more than they anticipated him playing in his, last week game, coming back from his injury. So I'm assuming that's what the limited is, but of course you want to keep an eye on that to make sure Cam Hayward is not going to miss any time in the game. And then as well, Nick Herbig. Nick Herbig was limited with a calf. Keep an eye on that because, Herbig has been giving us some significant snaps, has done some things with his limited availability in terms of, I say limited because he hasn't been on the field as much, obviously, with TJ and Highsmith ahead of him, but he has made the best of his opportunity, so hopefully he'll be able to go. He was limited yesterday as well, so we'll see how that, will factor in. If we scroll down a bit and take a look at Green Bay, their game time decisions here, let's see what they have. Let me back it up a little bit to make sure it's in view for you guys. Hold on. Here we go. So their game status. Jair Alexander, doubtful. That is big. Kenny Clark, questionable. That could be big for them as well. Safety Rudy Ford is questionable. Center guard Josh Myers. A lot of you guys would be familiar with him. This is the kid, I believe, from Ohio State, where the Steelers, we were still looking for them possibly to grab a center. Myers was a name that came up. He's questionable. Tackle Yosh, is it Najam? Nijman. I'm not sure if that, one of those letters there are silent, but, hopefully I'm not butchering his name. He's questionable. John Runyon, you should be familiar with him. Their guard, questionable. And then also linebacker Quay Walker is doubtful with the groin. So what I would say to those guys, and let me just scroll down a little bit and see, who else was on that. Let's see who else had any situations going on Friday. Let's see. Elton Jenkins was limited with the knee. Aaron Jones limited with the hamstring. He's recently coming back off of a injury as well. And then also Christian Watson dealing with some back issues, but he was a full participant on Friday for the Packers. Excuse me. A sneeze might be coming on as well, so if I pause again, forgive me. But yeah, man, these names are very, very, very key for the Packers as well as the Steelers. And again, it's going to lend to some of my keys to victory. So what are those keys to victory? Number one, I think what the Steelers need to do is definitely keep their eyes on a guy like Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is pretty much their go-to guy from what I've seen. I watched about the first half or so of last week's game, Packers against the Rams. Didn't watch the whole thing, but I kind of just watched a solid half, a little bit of the third quarter to kind of get a feel of what they're doing and what they've done most recently. They definitely are trying to get the offense to flow through Aaron Jones. They're definitely attempting to run the ball, like deliberately trying to run the ball. It doesn't look like they're running the ball out of necessity. It looks like they are intending on running the ball, because you also saw some AJ Dillon, excuse me. I went way back there, but you saw some AJ Dillon. But Aaron Jones is pretty much their feature guy. They don't necessarily have a number one receiver. I mean, they have some young talent, and Watson, who was a Blazer, Romeo Doubs as well. What's the other kid's name? I can see him, but I just can't call his name right now. A couple of these guys that are not, superstars and relatively new, but they got some young pieces with a little bit of talent. But from what I saw, it doesn't look like the Packers are really, leaning on their pass attack. Jordan Love isn't playing that great. Is he being somewhat of a manager? A little bit, managing the game, but not really seeing anything out of Jordan Love that scares me. He does have some mobility, but it definitely looks like hasn't been too accurate deep down the field. There was an opportunity he had to hit Watson in that game against the Rams against Akello Witherspoon, and he put the ball short. If he puts that ball out in front, it's a touchdown more than likely. But he kind of short arms it, and I've seen him do that a few times. And a lot of the routes that they're throwing is more intermediate. They will take a few shots down the middle of the field, but Jordan Love's play hasn't been something to be concerned about. The only thing that I would say, if you do have, got to be mindful of the fact that he is mobile, because obviously you would expect TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith and others to present, some pass rush opportunities, which could cause him to be on the move. So definitely keep an eye on that as far as containing the quarterback. But like I said, man, from what I'm seeing, Aaron Jones is the guy. If you can kind of limit Aaron Jones and make them one-dimensional and make them have to pass, I like our odds against their offense with our pass rushers. Our secondary is still a secondary that doesn't necessarily make me feel warm and fuzzy, but I think they can get the job done, considering the fact that they don't have any guys who are world beaters out there. They don't have really that number one receiver that you got to worry about with superb route running or anything like that. So I think we can keep, for the most part, things in front of us, keep them in check. Definitely don't give up a home run, allowing a guy to go deep on us, a guy like Watson with that speed. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. I'm sure I don't feel like Joey Porter is going to travel in this game, because like I said, I don't think there's a receiver for the Packers that warrants that. I don't think there's a guy who demands a follow. So I think they're going to just put their base defense out there as far as, each corner playing whichever side and not really flipping. And I'm sure the Steelers are going to throw some cover 3 out there, some cover 2, some man here and there. So again, I think if you can stop Aaron Jones, because the Packers also like to run play action. They like to play off of that play action and kind of get Jordan Love on the move a little bit. They will do some trickery in terms of, end arounds and things like that. Because again, they're not showing to be like a powerful passing offense. So they will sprinkle in some of those plays. So I think the key thing for the Steelers to do, outside of obviously getting a nice pass rush, they need to also maintain their gaps and edges. Secure the edge. Don't allow the Packers to get on the outside, because not only do they run end arounds and such, they also do a lot of toss plays to Aaron Jones. So, don't allow these guys to win on the edges. They will run a few screens here and there. So if the Steelers can win on the edge, as well as keep a bottle on, keep things relatively quiet for Aaron Jones, you force the Packers to be pass heavy. I like our odds in that regard, primarily because of our pass rush. All right, and like I said, keep an eye on the run game, man. Will Martravius Adams being out be a factor? Will guys like Cole Holcomb being out be a factor? Because we know Cole Holcomb has been playing pretty solid, especially kind of cleaning things up in the middle and also kind of your sideline to sideline type of guy, making a lot of tackles. Now we're going to ask Quan and Landon Roberts to do that. And also let's see if Mark Robinson gets any burn. But I hope we don't notice it, but I will honestly say I think you might see a difference out there without Cole Holcomb kind of solidifying the inside linebacker position with the complement of the other two guys. So keep an eye on that. Now, offensively, the Packers, as far as what we should do offensively, I noticed they run a lot of man coverage. These guys are not afraid to get up in your face. And like I said, that's why I think Alexander being doubtful is huge. That is huge because, he's more than likely, he's pretty much their best corner. I do like what their young kid is doing for them, Valentine kid. I think he's playing more in the slot, I believe. I don't think he's the other outside corner. I could be wrong there, but, his name popped up quite a bit in that Rams game, and I kind of like his game. He's kind of feisty. I like Rashawn Gary. I like Van Ness. I like a lot of these guys, young group of guys that they have over there as well, as far as Van Ness and Valentine. And they seem to fly around quite a bit. They seem to try to put some speed on display on their defense. But like I said, what I noticed a lot is they're not afraid to run man, and they're not afraid to get in your face. So I think the Steelers have a lot of good opportunities there with the route running of Deontay Johnson, as well as the back shoulder action with a George Pickens. I like that. So I really do like the idea of them trying to come out there and play heavy man against our receivers. I would take George and Deontay Johnson against the corners that are going to be out there. Even a guy like Alexander, I like that matchup if they're going to do that. Also, what I noticed is them playing man quite a bit. It will give Kenny opportunities to escape the pocket. So I would like for Kenny to pay attention to that. Hopefully he looked at the film. I'm sure he did. But just looking at the film, you can see very quickly that the Ripken kid, Rippin, is that his last name? Brett Rippin, I think his name, the guy who played quarterback for the Rams last week. There was many a times that he was just taking off and running. He had escape lanes, getting on the edge multiple times. And I would assume, again, it goes hand in hand with those guys playing man coverage, leaving gaps for him to run through when guys' backs are turned. So I would like for Kenny Pickett also to be mindful of that. Don't force anything. If they're in man and nothing is there, you have an option to use your legs because Kenny can move too when he wants to. He can run. So there's some opportunities there. But like I said, man, I just think if the Steelers can come out and just, be balanced. And again, you can say that every week, but that's a fact. If they could come out and establish the run, because it looks like, from what I saw, that you can run the ball against the Packers. They got a couple guys up front that's stout, but again, some of these guys are questionable. Kenny Clark could be out. So I think the Steelers will have an opportunity to run the ball. And if they come out with their straight up blocking scheme, and power runs and things like that, there's opportunities there to run the ball. And if they do that, it's going to leave opportunities for one-on-ones. They like to play man coverage anyway. So I do like potentially what our offense could do against that defense. I do think we can match up well based on what I saw from the Packers and how they're putting their defense out there. I like the matchup potentially. I have to say potentially because still, I'm not going to be excited just because we've seen a game or so where our offense looked decent. Yeah, decent, not great. I'm not going to be overly excited by that. They still haven't proven to us that they can come out and fire it on all cylinders at all times. So it's a if more than a I think they can. And that's what I got, man. Again, no disrespect to the Packers, but the Packers aren't doing anything that makes me fearful. You're going to hear me say that a little more throughout this season. Coming up, there's some games that I'm going to say, I don't know. And I'll give you actual reasons why. But the Packers game is not it. This is a game that I think we do have an opportunity. I think we can win this game if we can come out, have a balanced offense. I mean, hey, the type of offense that we saw on the first drive last week, just that type of balance, being able to run the football, the week when both Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris are both getting off. Not, Jaylen Warren, what was he, 11 carries for 88 yards? Like, if we can have that type of game against this team, I think they can put this game away, but we shall see. Now, one other thing I will say, it's a small chance that I will be at that game tomorrow. Small chance. If the tickets line up right, because my wife kind of wants to go now too, so it's kind of hard to find. Lately, it's been hard to find more than 2 tickets at the Steelers Stadium. So if we can, by chance, find 3 tickets that are worthy tomorrow morning, because I know the prices and things change and availability changes a little bit the day of. I'm going to get up early tomorrow, check and see if there's anything there. And if it is, excuse me, we're going to cop them and we're going to go to the game. So I'm just letting you guys know in advance that might happen. Hopefully it will. If not, I'll be on for the post-game show at the regular scheduled time following the game. All right, but outside of that, man, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed the content, man. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments as well as far as what you think the Steelers will do, can do, should do, and how they will do. Just let me know how you feel in the comments. But again, before you go, I'm always going to remind you guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. Can I do it again? Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications, and like always, man, I shall catch you in the next one. Peace.